has nearly 25 years of corporate experience with brands like Science Group, Mercedes-Benz, Dow Chemical USA, OTE Group, Oman AJT Group, UK, etc., where he headed business leadership, corporate strategy, and marketing. Manas is a published author and ranked among top 100 global bloggers in 2019.
And what we do here is, in the AI area, we are working pretty deeply. Some of the points that we are considering, I would be happy to share with you here. We work in the area of blockchain because that's connected. We talked about the lack of control over your own data. I believe decentralization and blockchain holds an important key to taking back the ownership of our own data, right? We have built our own metaverse, and we are a completely virtual company, all right? I am the only employee in Pune. We've got another employee also in Hyderabad, for example, and people spread across the country. We don't meet anybody. We meet in the metaverse. We watch movies together, we watch Formula 1 races together, and we collaborate at work. So in a way, we are using digital to bridge the gap that physical proximity does not bring about today, right? It leverages and allows the society to use that in a more productive manner. So in the beginning, when technology is at its early stage, we say it's created by specialists and used by specialists. Think of AI 5 years back, all right? Before the world of ChatGPT stepped in. We were just aware of it. We didn't know much about it. So at that time, it's more of role of education is to teach people that it exists. As you move forward, created by specialists, used by everyone. I believe this is a stage where we are approaching with ChatGPT. I'm just naming ChatGPT as an example. There are all these others that, like Sir told about. And at a later stage, think of Canva, think of Figma. We've all talked about these tools, right? That's technology which is created by everyone, used by everyone. And then, so this is the way that we've seen. And now, we've already entered into the WWW era, not World Wildlife Fund or not wrestling part, but the internet-based era. And we are already teaching our schools and kids about web development. This is past. Now what's coming up is this domain called Web 3.0. And what we are discussing today is, as teachers, how can we leverage Web 3.0 to give our students the advantage over others in this world which is transforming. And for us, and like you said, sir, you said, let's make it a little more specific to teachers and MOOC. For us, I feel three major technologies will play a strong role. The first one, I would say, is virtual reality. I spoke to you about our metaverse, where I don't know anyone, but all our colleagues meet and we collaborate and work in the metaverse, right? In the same way, virtual reality is now, it has achieved, I would say, close to achieving critical mass. If you are following the news, you will see that Jio has launched a sort of cardboard kind of a setup. For something like 5,000 rupees, you literally get a VR headset possibility. It's not the advanced VR headset, but it is close to the virtual reality experience. Now, there's an experiment called the Damocles sword, okay? What they did was, there was a room full of equipment like this big, okay? At the end of it, there was like 2 spectacles, and this guy was wearing it. And he could see a candle and a flame that is slightly flickering. That was the first VR experiment of the world, right? After that, I don't know how many of you played Nintendo games, okay? When I was young, my neighbor had a Nintendo game and I was damn jealous of him. I used to always try to be his friend because I wanted to put that headset on. You know, it was super cool. This is what we have seen during our childhood, right? 5 years back came the Oculus headset. So from a room full, it became a head full of equipment. And from a head full, it just becomes this small today, right? Brilliant this year has come up with its first world's VR monitor. So it's like a screen, and yet you have a VR experience. You can create experiences. You can step inside VR ambiances, and still you are connected. You remember the Instagram filters, those Mickey ears, those whiskers, right? How many of us have tried that? Yeah, quite a few, right? So we have all used AR. And what is AR really? Augmented reality is a situation wherein you place a layer of digital on top of the physical reality. Okay? What is happening here is, for example, the makeup or that eye, whatever, is a digital layer, and it's being placed on top of the person who is in the phone. That's what's happening. Now, this was there in our phones and it still is. But the shift happened when Microsoft did their HoloLens experiment. What did they do here? Until now, the camera was actually putting the digital and the physical on top, right? Now it says, can I place the human eye behind the camera? So suddenly it changed the things. Now I could actually look around and still have an AR experience. And as a result of this, today in Amazon you can buy AR glasses, right? And that's not it. Imagine the change that is happening. This is a company called Mojo Lens. They have come up with the world's first AR contact lenses. Nothing required. You're completely free. Just put on those contacts. You can see things. Now imagine what happens. I'll tell you a imaginary scenario that's not so imaginary. AR combined with internet streaming, I don't need to remember people's names. I can actually see each of your names in front of you, right? Possible? If I take a scan of your social media feed, I will know what you like, ma'am, versus what you like. So when I'm engaging in discussions and communications, today I had to ask you how many of you are from, let's say, data science background. I don't need to. In the future, we could all have this kind of accesses. And imagine you've got a person who's coming across, she speaks to you on her language, your device tells it to you in your language, you respond back, and she also understands it. So in a way, the future that we are talking about is a future where, in my opinion, see, today, digital exists behind the computer screens, okay? We have Google Meets, they're always behind the computer screens. Phone, behind the computer screen, right? Behind the screen. So digital is a separate world which exists behind the screens. Physical is reality. That's today. In my opinion, this is tomorrow, where the digital and the physical are merging together to form one single unified world. All right? That is the meta world. Who will redefine it? Us, our kids. Can you imagine the opportunity? Trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars is the opportunity that we are talking about here. So, if you ask me, the way I see it, we are going to be stepping into the most exciting period that human civilization has seen till date. That's my personal opinion. Yes, it is scary, it has to be managed, there would be risks. But if we do it right, the opportunity could be something that is unimaginable. Now, the question is, do we embrace it or do we shun it? But before that, I feel that we need to ask ourselves, if we bury our head in the sand, will the storm go away? My experience, it doesn't. It's going to come whether we like it or not. So the way I see it, if we are able to embrace it, be the first movers, grab the bull by the horns like we were saying, that's when we would be the leaders and everybody else would be followers. And the way I see it, this and the next few years is the time when this convergence is going to create the next Googles, the next Netflixes of the world. The question is, are we willing to step in and take charge? Are we willing to, shape that world, make it into the world that we would like to have, and reap that opportunity? Or are we going to say, no, this is not for me, and get dragged in anyhow, unwillingly, and suffer? That's the question. That's the dilemma that each of us have to face. I have made my choice. I have put my, as they say, the gauntlet into the fighting ring. I'm here. I don't care about how old I am. I don't care about what others say. I'm here because I believe that there is an opportunity and we must take advantage of it. So this is the way that I see technology shaping the world and our lives in the very near future. All right? By step, they were slow. Computers were introduced in some sectors, and gradually it penetrated the whole of society until we reached the stage today. But with this new emergence, with this new movement, with this new convergence of technology that we are seeing, it's not going to be a step-by-step change. It is going to be a disruption across every single industry. And this is, on one side, the scary part, and this is also, on the other side, the greatest opportunity part. This is the way I see it. Impact is, in this emergent world, all the things that we do today will be reshaped. They will need people to do this, and that's an opportunity for all of us. What's going to be the change? The change is that if you talk to Dell Foundation and Institute for the Future, they're saying that by 2030, 85% of the jobs that would be there, the job descriptions, are yet to be invented. Now we are talking about MOOCs, right? What's the foundation of MOOCs? Is on our existing knowledge base. The challenge would be that these would be new things that would be coming up, and we as teachers have to take our younger generation into this future. So that's the first part as the challenge. The second part, which I think the question would be then, if everything is so new, should we just haath pe haath dhoye baithe rehna chahiye kya, right? In my opinion, what we need to teach our kids is not just deeper knowledge, but how to work with new things as dynamically as the change, you know. So it's not just expertise, but capacity. Capacity, how do you build it? You build it through experiences, you build it through experiments, you build it through working with tools like ChatGPT, like Figma, for example, like Canva, for example, you know, for all of these tools which are available are the ones which we must teach our kids to leverage so that they are able to come up with solutions that are yet to be seen today. You know, even the questions we do not know. So that's the way that I see us having to bridge it. And in this whole process, you know, the way I see it in the near future, quite a large amount of jobs can be automable, okay? If you look at recent reports, they are saying that about 25 to 28% of jobs in a country like India, which is more labor intensive, less automation focused, even here we will have about 25% of impact, okay? Talk about a developed nation like US, 58% is the impact factor. So now imagine 58 to 60% of people would need to skill, upskill or reskill themselves in order to be relevant to this emergent scenario. Digital pedagogy, in my opinion, MOOCs is nursery standard stuff, all right? If we are scared of MOOCs, you would be really scared of what's coming in the future. But let me show you an example. Why don't I do that? Correct. Who asked this question? Which is AI? Right. Can you tell me which is AI? Stacy 1. How many people say Stacy 1 is AI? Come on, raise your hands. I want to see it. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 10. How many people say Stacy 2 is AI? About 30, 35. Now let me break the news. Stacy 1 is AI. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm not talking about future. I'm talking about present. I've shown you an example. This is called digital twin. You are asking about MOOCs, sir. Now imagine if you put your knowledge into your digital twin, and here is where the best part comes in. This is not something that can be taken up by the global majors. This is a data that resides in you because they have got a digital vault which you control with your private encryption key. All right? Now, if you're Osmania University and you implement this project, I'm just giving you an example, all of your teachers have their own digital vault. This is accessible only to Osmania University and yourself. All right? You put your knowledge in there and anybody can ask any questions and interact. Now we were talking about, abhi maza aa raha hai na? Because when you want to create a MOOC, Imagine what this guy will do to you. You don't need green screens, right? You don't need expensive equipment. You don't need all of this time and setting, nothing. Train your twin to do the job while you sleep. This is another possibility of a future, all right? So what I'm trying to say is exciting things are happening in this world. There's tons of brilliant things happening. All we need to do is to just keep our eyes and ears open. And now I can tell you why at the age of 50 and I'm now getting into this area, because I've never seen something more exciting in my life. If we miss this bus, we will go back and say, वो दिन देखे थे हमने कुछ किया है, ये कर सकते हैं. This is absolutely possible, and I'm showing you how. That is really the AI. No, that's the second clip. Is it? First, okay. Okay. I'm also confused.
It's my pleasure to introduce you to Twin Protocol, a proud member of the Singularity Net ecosystem. Our vision at Twin Protocol is to better the world through knowledge and wisdom sharing. We enable individuals and organizations to train digital versions of themselves, to share knowledge, create legacies, and foster continuous learning.
All right. So this is just one. Now let's go back to
Thank you for the
dangerous
opportunity to share a little bit about where we are on our Twin Protocol journey. And we just really want to invite you in to help us together revolutionize how we connect, learn, and grow with AI. And we're just honored to be with all of you today.
All right. Actually, her voice seems a little mechanical as compared to the first one, right? Yeah, I know. But okay, she's the real one. Right. So should we go back to the PDF? Yes. So what I gave you an example is real-time voice and video generation. All right. That's including AI in a scenario where it can be generative in nature. All right. We've talked about AR, VR. Okay, why don't I show you a little bit about our metaverse? Would you like to see that? I've got like a 1-minute film. At least it gives you an idea, right? I'm sorry, I would have probably taken you on a walkthrough, but since internet is not that strong, at least the film would help you. Should we play that? And then I can talk about the dynamic VR creation. So उसमें देखिए BK या.
Welcome to the Brandkin Business Park. Here, you can learn about our metaverse experiences for commercial organizations. If you are a corporate leader wanting to learn how the metaverse can support your business goals, you have come to the right place. Our business park has 3 zones. The first is the Brand Center. Here you learn how you can showcase your corporate brand in your future metaverse home. The second zone is the Social Center. Think of it like a really cool zone within your business metaverse. Here, you can invite customers and visitors and engage with them in a relaxed ambience. The third zone is our Experience Center. This is the heart of your metaverse inspiration. Here, you can actually see for yourself how Brandkin is helping companies like yours to pivot their business. Now, you can transform your sales and customer experience. You can enable team collaboration and learning, and you can augment your business operations. The Brandkin Experience Center shows you how it can be done. Let our global expertise power your business into immersive and Web3 experiences.
Right. Very short video, but if you are standing very close to the screen like I was, it almost feels like you are inside it, and when you actually wear the headsets, it's not something that happens inside the screen. You are inside that. You are replacing the camera, all right? So you'll be looking around, wow, and then you meet this person, hi, how are you? It's as real as that, all right? And then you can, the kind of things that we've done, for example, is factory visits, Mercedes-Benz India. They have a beautiful factory which is open to only a few people for a short period of time because they don't want to interrupt their factory schedule. Now nobody needs to do that. You can just step inside the factory and have a beautiful planned tour guided with an AI avatar who will answer every question. You already saw the digital human, right? Imagine some stuff like that happening. This is just one of the examples. There are many things that can happen in there. So what we are talking about is to create this particular metaverse. It took my team 9 months and a lot of effort. That's 2 years back. Now today what has happened is the computing power has improved. GPUs are becoming far, far stronger. And so I believe in a very short period of time, you would be in a position where by putting a prompt, you will actually be dynamically generating ambiances that you're walking through. It will not be taking 9 or 10 months to create static ambiances. It can be dynamically generated. How does it relate to MOOCs again? Now imagine you have a learner, and we are doing this combination with AI also. This is another project that we are working on, in which if you give a job description and if you give me a CV, and if you give me 20,000 CVs, we've built a mechanism in which our AI will match this and tell you what is the rating score, how close is this CV with the job description. That's phase 1, okay? But phase 2 becomes even better. In phase 2, some selected candidates would be asked to talk to the AI, tell me about yourself in 2 minutes, all right? We take that voice sample and we will be able to tell you the personality assessment of the candidate, and this is based on pure psychology, So what now happens is, imagine how it can be used in a MOOC scenario. Already Sir was talking about, from the data points when the candidates are dropping out. That's one. They're dropping out either because they're not interested, they're busy, they're not finding it, XYZ, but they're able to watch a movie for 2.5 hours, right? So there is something in the experience creation that we can improve, hopefully. That will get us more traction, get us more stickiness with the audience. This could be a potential. Also, the other part could be that each of us have different styles of learning. I am a very tactile person. I like to hold a book, I like to write. I can just remember just by typing and reading. But a few of my nephews and nieces, they're younger. They're like, kya likhte ho tum, wo bakwas hai, type karo ya fir, just watch a YouTube video and you do it. So we are not here to judge whose style is right and whose style is wrong. I have a style, they have a different style. I mean, even if I want to, they may not be able to adapt to my style. So what we need to do is, what's important, the way I see it, it's important for us to be able to get across our knowledge to them. That's all we need to do. The best medium would be the medium that they're comfortable in. If they're comfortable in an audiovisual medium, if they're born into gaming zones, okay, they will hang out with each other. They're sitting next to each other if you observe them. They're in their gaming zones and then they're chatting with each other. They don't chat each other physically. Now, we don't like it. I don't like it either. But if that's the way they are, why don't I use it to improve their lives? So imagine now, dynamic VR generation could create such ambiances that give them this opportunity to learn in an ecosystem that they are comfortable in, So, and in the same way, we talked about learner profiling and assessment. So now imagine if you're able to understand better who is this learner or what does he like, all right? It is possible for us to create personalized experiences, because you already saw we can generate on the go, or in a few years time, not few years, probably a year and a half, we would be able to generate much more dynamic experiences on the go, immersive experiences that can teach them in a way that they're comfortable. So, and also we talked about the knowledge vault when I was talking about the digital twin. I said there is a possibility using decentralized AI to not have all your data with Googles and Facebooks of the world. We can own our data, right? And in fact, it's not fantasy, it's not science fiction. It is available with each of you today. And I'll give you this example. Sir, can you just switch and open? There's a Brave browser that I've opened. How many of you have heard of the Brave browser? Amazing. Okay, I knew you would, of course. So this is a browser, which is a Web3 browser. It blocks any data of you going out. Nobody can have any data. So bad luck Google and YouTube. And what it also does is, you see, this is the browser. Sir, वहाँ पे एक बार ऊपर click कीजिए. हाँ, इस पे. You see, it's telling you how many shields you can decide what to do, and go on the extreme right hand side. हाँ, इस पे. Now what happens is, you are giving them permission to use your data. If you don't like it, don't give them permission. If you give them permission, you will get crypto tokens in return. All right, so you are taking control of your data and deciding whether it goes to them or not. Right? This is no science fiction. It exists today. It's just not commonly known. So the best example, YouTube Premium. How many of you subscribe to YouTube Premium? Right. If you use Brave, they block ads. You don't need YouTube Premium. You are in YouTube Premium when you are using Brave. All right. So I'm just giving an example that the things that we have as a challenge today, there is also a parallel movement that is trying to solve those challenges. You know, and all we need to do is keep our eyes and ears open and observe what's happening, so that we can get in that domain and tell our kids this is the safer way to do it. Right? All right, so now let's go back to the presentation, sir. Oh, you were already there. Fantastic. Right. So this was about decentralized AI, and the final part was about what brings it all together is devices. You know, we are already having the best supercomputer, which is our mobile phones. And as convergence happens, miniaturization happens, you will see more and more functionalities being brought in devices that are much more easier to handle. So that's the devices part. Connectivity, you all know, 5G, 6G, etc. is going on. But the best part is, what it does is, you see all of these VR, why am I not being able to show you my metaverse today? It's because I need higher bandwidth. And VR takes more bandwidth, all right? So as the bandwidth becomes more and more accessible, these kind of functionalities would be more easy for each of us to access, you know. And the final part is processing power. Like I was talking about, GPUs being much more powerful, and there are many more things coming up, edge compute, reducing latency, little technical, but bottom line is that things are getting faster, cheaper and better. And as more and more people join this movement, economies of scale will step in, and these will actually accelerate the pace and the cost also. These kind of AI being used, I tell them it's your duty to find out about this. I push them a little bit, but also I must say I'm lucky because I have a class size of 60. I'm sure most of you have much bigger class sizes, so it may be difficult. I'm not saying that's the answer, but it's worth trying out and trying to figure out how it can happen, right? But what I did was, during class now I could talk about applying and analyzing, and after class we talk about evaluating and creating. So the assignments that I gave them, I knew that they would have to use AI, all right? Now if they are using AI, what is remaining for them to do is the question, correct? Very simply I told them, each of you are in batches, you have to come and present. Work in progress, but only limited avenues available to the common person today to protect themselves. We just need to be careful, that's it. That's the way I see it.